The Most High is, we say he because we view him in a masculine sense. There is no gender, there's nothing as far as the humanistic definition of who the Most High is. There is no application of that, but we compare him to us. But the Most High, you talking about feminine and masculine and all this other, no. That has nothing to do with the Most High. He invented it all. He caused it all to be. We say he because man was the first made. But the fact is, how can we even describe the Most High? Even Tata and Zambi, Sanini Nanini. Those of you who call him Yahuwah, Yahweh. Yes. Even now we know that God is allowing his people to be provoked to jealousy because the colonizer, the WS supremacists have been favored in their wickedness because of our disobedience. They've been favored for many days. When I say days, I mean a day, thousands, years in man time. A day. Now, it gets to the point where the name even you use as Jesus is an abomination. It's a curse. It represents so many things, even though we know that that's not. You look at even the way their gods are, the Roman and Greek gods are named, the Sus and the Herodotus and all these Tus, US, are either prefixed or suffixed into the name of the person, and they even changed the name of the elect one to a curse and an abomination called Jesus. Yes, God have been merciful to many of us that have used that name in our ignorance. And many of us still in our stubbornness, in our idolatrous mind, we still use it. Even the name Muhammad, even those names that have caused the eradication and have bind and caused many to be imprisoned and deleted and starved and so many hideous things to occur, castrated. No, I'm not letting you go, those of you who call on the name of Muhammad. You don't even know what you're doing or even associated in that area. Those of you who are of Jacob. How did they come into the land and steal men under that same auspices? Whether it be Jesus or whether it be that because you called on the name one time of Sanini Nanini, even Tata and Zambi, Yahweh, Yahuwah. I ain't even talking about Yahweh. That's a Yiddish terminology. But the fact is, you need to start rechecking why you say these names and why you're so engrossed in them. God is merciful. He knows that your mind is being set. He knows that his chastisement has been upon you. Now it's time to come out. But anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you that are on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platforms, I am T. Clay. Let us pray, O most holy Spirit that moved upon the water, Sanini Nanini, Tata and Zami. Yes, we have gone a long ways. Many of us have died some hideous deaths, burned alive. We were caused to even be castrated and fingers chopped off, hands chopped off, heads chopped off. Yes, so many things that have happened to us in many eras of time, and even some to this day. But we are not acknowledging the things, the hideous things that are happening to us towards this day, for they look on their own. They don't look to us. The Arabs looks to those of Arabic descent and those that are Caucasian and, should I say, all those descents of those. They look on those of their descent. That's news. But those who are of a dark brown skin, a dark hue, we're not black, we're brown as far as the crayon is concerned. And we have accepted every name, every hue they could put on us. But oh, we ask you to give us the fortitude and the bravery to say, no, no more, no more, no more. We can't take it anymore. We rather die than try to take this again. We rather die than be put into slavery, put into torment, caused to be a byword. Yes, God has provoked you to jealousy and you don't even see it's your time of coming out. Get out of those churches. Get out of this Christian thing which have caused the eradication of all your people. Many underwater, many in fires and burns. Those in Spain and Portugal have just been erased because they called on the name of the God of Moses, the God of Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. You talking about Christianity under fire. Give me a break. I digress. Now we're in the book of Jubilees chapter 11. The book of Jubilees chapter 11. We ended with verse 8. And we talked about how that the daughter of Kabir, the daughter of his father's brother, who was who? Who was who? Let's keep going. In verse 8, and she bare him Nahor. Okay? This is where it all begins right here. Nahor, in the first year of this week, he grew and dwelt in Ur of the Chaldees. Ur of the Chaldees. Some say that's Nigeria. Some say that's over in the Middle East. Names have been changed. Places, descriptions have been falsified. We don't exactly know. And his father taught him the reaches of the Chaldees, to divine and augur and according to the signs of heaven. And in the 37th Jubilee, 37 times Jubilee is how old mankind have been on this earth. Now, in the 6th week and in the first year thereof, he took to himself a wife. Her name was Iaska. See, there's that J again. That J they put in there to try to, they call it a certain name. But when you're dealing with history, the J cannot even enter it into there, because it was less than, 500 years. The J had been introduced into the English language along with other letters. So the pronunciation of the word is invalid. The daughter of Neskag of the Chaldees, and she bare him Terah in the 7th year of this week. And the prince Matima, this was a devil, this was a Satan. A Satan, there are many Satans. So we have to get this right. Those of you who call yourself prophet and prophetess, you say Satan. There is no such thing as a Satan. He's not equal with God. He's not omnipresent. He is one being of many, and they all call the Satans, even those who kiss the rock say Hasatans. They have a way of saying it. Yes, there are many. At least even in their messed up way, they still got it right. Sent ravens and birds to devour the seed which was sown in the land. And they say, oh, their prophet had ravens and birds drop rocks upon their enemies. But anyway, where did they get all this from? Let's keep reading. And in order to destroy the land and rob the children of men in their labors before they could plow in seed, the ravens picked it up from the surface of the ground. In other words, God cursed the ground anyway. And for this reason, he called his name Terah, because the ravens and the birds reduced them to destitution and devoured their seed. Didn't they say this for the prophet? But they changed it a little bit. Come on here. I tell you, many things we have to learn. Anger should be your motivator to learn and to search. Anger of the things that, and jealousy of the things that have gone because we have messed up our ancestors. And we were turned to a most hideous way, anger, to how these devils have swayed your mind and swayed the mind of men and swayed the mind of all kind of animals and things to worship that which is nothing. I've seen how in the Congo they burn the picture of Caesar Borgia and burn the New Testament, the Bible, New Testament is worthless. Everything in the New Testament can be found in the Old, except for lies. Now, to them, destitution devoured their season. The year began to be barren owing to the birds, and they devoured all the fruit of the trees from the trees. It was only with great effort that they could save a little of all the fruit of the earth in their days. And in this 39th Jubilee, 39 Jubilees time 49, in the second week of the first year, Terah took to himself a wife. Her name was Etna, the daughter of Abram, the daughter of his father's sister. Edna, the daughter of Abram, that is his name. It's not Abraham. When they wants to change the name of something, they would say the name, and then they will say, oh, but God called him this, or but he said his name, he called him this. This is how they transition the name to what they call transliteration. It really is a downright lie. Now, the daughter of his father's sister, and in the 7th year of this week, she bare him a son, and he called his name Abram, by the name of his father. Now, this is his name that was called. Now, Abram was named after his father, Abram. Yes, God has no need of changing nobody's name. No, by the name of the father of his mother, for he had died before his daughter had conceived a son. And the child began to understand the errors of the earth and went all astray after graven images, and that all that went astray after graven images and after uncleanness, and his father taught him writing. See, Abram knew how to write. Okay, we're going to get out of this heathenistic, and we're going to get out of those that were caused to bring the havoc upon us because of the things that our ancestors have done. We're going to get out of that. We're going to become a people, a strong people, a mighty people. Yes. And went graven images out of the uncleanness of his father and taught him writing. And he was 2 weeks of years old. And he separated himself from his father that he might not worship idols with him. What did he do? The child began to understand the errors. Now you got a child that begin to understand the errors of your Jesus. The error that his name invokes hideousness. It revokes rebellion. It revokes torment. It revokes shame. It invokes all those things. Even the very boat most of your ancestors were brought on. John, Paul, another name that have caused much anguish among those that are of a dark brown hue. Now, and he began in verse 17 to pray to the creator of all things that he might save him from the errors. This is what Abram prayed. This is why he was chosen. Yes. He saw this. This is not right. This is not right, he says. And he began to pray to the creator of all things, that he might save him from the errors of the children of men, that his portion should not fall into the error after uncleanness and vileness under these idols. And the seed time came for sowing of seed upon the land, in verse 18, and they all went forth together to protect their seed against the raven. And Abram went forth with those that went, and the child was a lad of 14. This is at 14 years old. This child understood something is wrong here. You ought to understand something is wrong here. When you call and start saying Jesus, 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 and your Jesus become a curse word, your Jesus become a blessing, your Jesus become everything but never done nothing for you. It's an idol. It's an idol word. It's an idol. It's a curse. Name was never Jesus. Even in the book of Enoch, he was depicted as a judge. That's all he was, a prophet and a judge. He tasted the life of man. He knew the life of man, and he's appointed judge of heaven and earth. He's at all power. See, they changed it by the narrative. All power is given to me to judge in heaven and earth. That's what it is. The Most High he cannot replace the Most High at all, in no way, shape, or form. But this spirit that we call Yahushua, Yahuwah, is a judge. He was martyred for the truth that he told. He wasn't sacrificed. God doesn't sacrifice men. He doesn't use the blood of your children or no one else to cleanse anybody. It cannot. And then the blood of animals and all that was just given for a covering, because man is naked before the Most High, and God cannot stand you naked because of the sin. And then, verse 19, a cloud of ravens came to devour the seeds, and Abram ran to meet them before they settled on the ground, and cried to them before they settled on the ground to devour the seeds, and said, descend not, return to the place whence ye came. They proceeded to turn back. You speak to that devil. You don't have to lay hands on him. Speak. You don't have to touch him or anything. Just speak. If your life and your faith is there and God is with you, they will turn back. They will go away. I know this firsthand. And Abram ran to meet them. Okay, we're in verse 20. And he caused the clouds of raven to turn back that day 70 times. And of all the ravens throughout all the land where Abram was, there settled there not so much as one. Yes. Praises, all praises to the Most High. All praises. Yes. Not one. He spoke to him. Just as God told Moses to speak to the rock, but Moses was so angry, he slammed the rock. The power was not in the stick. Power was when he spoke. Because if your words are spirit and your words are life, they come from your spirit, from the Spirit of God, and you speak life, and you can speak death, and you can speak blessing, and you can speak curses. Come on, young. Some of you will learn, and some of you will still look dumb as I don't know what. Water. Turn back that day 70 times. And 21, and all who were with him throughout all the land saw him cry out, and all the ravens turned back, and his name became great in all the land of the Chaldees. And there came to him this year all those that wished to sow, and he went with them until the time of sowing ceased, and they sowed their land. And that year they brought enough grain home and ate that were satisfied. And in the first year of the week, 5th week, Abraham taught those who made implements for oxen and artificers and wood, and they made a vessel above the ground facing the frame of the plow in order to put the seed thereon. And the seed fell down therefrom upon the share of the plow and was hidden in the earth, that they no longer feared the raven. And after this manner they made vessels above the ground on all the frames and the plows, and they sowed to all the land according as Abram commanded them, that they no longer feared the birds. When you fear God, you fear nothing else. And with that, we're going to say, trust in the Lord with all thy heart. Not Lord, but trust in who? Tatan Zambi Sanini Nanini, even the great I am. With all thy heart, and lean not to your own understanding. And with that, we're going to say, peace.